try to discuss what is psychometric chart and how it can be used to calculate various properties of psychometrics. So in all your previous videos, you have learned about various psychometric properties such as specific humidity, relative humidity, dryness, and even the WBT, DBT, and all the enthalpies at the various regions, is it? So all those parameters can be calculated using a single psychometric chart. So that is why the usage of the psychometric charts is been very convenient and very easy too. So let us read what it has written. So as the calculation of the various properties of the moist air are tedious and time consuming, as you know, just to calculate all the properties when you have been solving for the major problems, what you have found is it will take most of the time, is it? So it will be giving just the dBT and the relative humidity of certain problems. So calculating all of the parameters from that, it will be taking more amount of time. How can we avoid this? By the usage of the psychometric charts. Okay, all the essential data for the complete thermodynamic psychometric analysis and the air conditioning process can be summarized and be presented in the form of a chart. That is what I told you. All these properties are summarized and presented in the form of a single chart. So that is known as a psychometric chart. Such a chart which makes it possible to obtain the necessary information readily for the engineering calculations related to moist air. So psychometric charts are only related to the moist air, where the vapor content and the dry air aspects are all covered. So when analyzing such a moist air condition working substance, we will be using the psychometric charts. So psychometric charts are constructed for a given mixture pressure. See, the psychometric charts are always done for one particular pressure. Suppose I say it is done for 1 atmosphere, that is 1 atmospheric pressure, that is 1 bar. Okay, so it can be used for only 1 bar. If you change the pressure, then you have to build a separate psychometric chart for that particular pressure value. So generally the air and water vapor analysis, that is moisture analysis, that is the psychometric analysis, would be done at the atmospheric pressure itself, correct? So therefore we will be using only one chart which is constructed based on your atmospheric pressure. Okay, based on your atmospheric pressure, it is being constructed using a dry bulb temperature as the coordinates. See, what are the coordinates of this chart? If there is a chart here, definitely there must be some coordinates, is it, like x and y coordinates? So in this chart also we have two coordinates. The one coordinate is the dry bulb temperature, okay, and the other coordinate is your omega value. What is omega? Omega is nothing but your specific humidity, correct? So all these two are the coordinates of your psychometric chart. So let us see how this particular psychometric charts look like. So this is how it looks. So it has numerous lines in it, many lines in it, across lines, straight lines, curved lines. There are many things in the psychometric chart. We shall discuss one by one. So if you see here, what are the first, understand the coordinates of a psychometric chart. So what is the coordinate? The x coordinate is the dry bulb temperature and the y coordinate is your specific humidity. That is the first thing you need to understand. So what is the x coordinate? X coordinate is the dry bulb temperature and y coordinate is your specific humidity. Okay, now so there are curves here like this. This is the one curve and it will be having a numerous curves parallel to this curve. Okay, there will be numerous curves all over the psychometric chart. So this curve represents the value of relative humidity which is given here. See, okay, these all curves, this will be 0.9. Okay, the relative humidity of this curve will be 0.9 and this would be 0.8. So similarly it goes on like this. Okay, all these curves are the relative humidity curves. That is the second thing. Okay, next, the curve which is exactly here, that means the curve whose relative humidity is 100%. The relative humidity of this particular curve is how much? It is 100%. Then this particular curve is known as the saturation curve. Remember this. So when the curve of a certain curve is where the relative humidity is 100%, then that is known as a saturated curve. And the DPT points, what is DPT? It is dew point temperature, and the WBT points, that is wet bulb temperature, are always found on the saturation curve. That means this particular curve which I am tracing it up now. So this curve is the saturation curve, where you can find your DPT values and the WBT values. Most importantly, the DPT values. Okay, just remember this. This is very, very important. Okay. Now, another lines which are parallel to each other. See these lines, this, and these lines would be all over the curve like this. When you see a proper psychometric chart, so these lines would be all over the curve, and these are nothing but the enthalpy curves. So by which we can calculate the various enthalpy. See, enthalpy values should be written here like this. There will be numerous values. Scale like arrangement would be there here. Okay, where you can read your enthalpy values. So this would be around 50, and this would be around 60, 70. The value should be given in the curve. So you have to trace that particular curve all over the find to find that particular value of enthalpy. So this is how it is done, which you will be very much clear while you solve the problems on this. Okay. So that is the saturation curve. Enthalpy is done. This is relative humidity. Okay. So even you will be finding the specific volume curves in the psychometric chart. This will be in this angle. So all this specific humidity curve will be in this angle, by which you can find out the specific humidity of that particular thing. Okay. So let us go forward. So these are the little bit of explanations which are around whatever I have explained till now. The saturation curve, the relative humidity lines, constant specific lines, dry bulb temperature and specific humidity lines. All these are the lines which are found in the psychometric chart. So let us see how a typical original psychometric chart looks like. So this is how the original psychometric chart looks like. So as I told you, the x-axis is the dry bulb temperature here, and the y-axis would be the specific humidity, which is given in all these particular values from here to here. All these values are specific humidity values. Okay. And these are the enthalpy values. If you see here, so all these lines which contains the enthalpy values 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 and 60. So all these are enthalpy values. So you can find the specific relative humidity values here. See, this is a saturation curve where the relative humidity value for this particular curve is 100%, correct? So this is 100% relative humidity, that's why it is a saturation curve. Now here it is, RH value is 90, here the RH value is 70, 50, able to spot the relative humidity curves here. So 40, 30, 20 and 10. So all these are relative humidity curve, guys. So where do you find the specific volume curves? So let us understand. So here are the specific volume curves. Here 0.775, 0.8, 0.25, 0.85. How do you understand it as a specific volume? Here they have given the units of it, meter cube per kg. So all these curves are specific volume curves. So how to analyze this particular chart which has so much properties in it? You will be understanding while you go in depth with the problems. It is very easy. You can calculate all your properties of your previous problems. Around 5 to 6 problems you have solved, right? So all those property values can be calculated within a fraction of seconds. So that is how this psychometric chart helps us to calculate the things. So let us learn more about it in the coming videos. Okay.